Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Music Meltdown, a part of the Album of the Year series, which this time we're going to be tackling 1981. Bit of an interesting year. For me, maybe a slight step up from 80. I think that it's a pretty good year across the board. I have a couple fives this year, two fives to be exact. So that's the kind of the step up. But I feel like my 4.5s aren't quite as strong. Although we shall see. Taavi, how you feeling about 81?
Yeah, I like 81. I don't I personally like 80 more, but I'm still happy with my list and all. But like yeah, I don't know. Just maybe in AOR aspect, 81 is almost a gold mine, I'd say. But yeah, I prefer 80, but still a good year.
Well, let's see what of these AOR classics are making your list. Is this when Journey?
Well,
This when Journey knocks in?
well, I'm sad to say that some of these AORs are in my honorable mentions, and including Journey, Escape, Stevie Nicks, Belladonna as an honorable mention, Foreigner 4, which is my favorite Foreigner album, um, and yeah, maybe The Police would be in my honorable mention too, with Ghost in the Machine. Just missing my list is Elton John, The Fox, which I think is an underrated album of his and my favorite 80s work of his. And yeah, I really enjoyed this album. It's not maybe very common to have this high, but it might be like even a top five Elton album for me, which might be crazy. But yeah, I love this album. Um, but it still didn't make my actual list. Um, my number five is Moving Pictures by Rush. Yeah, um, had to had to mention it here, and like the obviously the side one is like the well-known songs, and side two are the deeper cuts, I guess. And just like every song, um, I love some. Vital Signs is actually my favorite song here. It's a cool sound for them, kind of like Rush meets the Police, maybe a little bit. And yeah, just I think I usually like talk about prog in the 70s, but I think this still has that prog rock edge to me, while this is still a pretty catchy album at all. But yeah, I do think Rush is still prog in Moving Pictures. And my number four is maybe a somewhat surprising. It's Lindsey Buckingham, Law and Order. Um, Obviously we're gonna do an episode of Lindsay's solo career at some point, and yeah, this has just grown on me. Every time I listen to this, it's definitely a weird album. It's almost like a almost feels like the leftovers from Tusk, and kind of demo-like almost, and it's very cool, and so many cool songs, and I love like It Was I and Trouble, which was the hit from this album, and so many odd songs like Johnny Stew, and kind of fun songs too, like That's How We Do It in LA, and Love From Here, Love From There. And yeah, it's definitely not for everyone, but yeah, I really enjoy it. Now number three is Van Halen, Fair Warning. So we're gonna get to that hard rock mode now, heavy metal. And yeah, my favorite Van Halen album, at least at the moment. And so, yeah, I just known this for a long time, this album, and can't get enough of it. I pretty much like every song in here. Unchained is probably my favorite. It was the most well known from this album. Even like the instrumental of Sunday Afternoon in the Park, which is kind of like a more darker synth number, is very cool. And but yeah, it's a fun album. Slightly darker than some of their other albums, but still very cool. Number two, yeah, I love this album, Tattoo You by the Rolling Stones. Um, one of my favorite Rolling Stones albums. Just can listen to this at any time, basically. Favorite song is Slave, probably. And Heaven is one of my favorite Stone numbers too. So very unusual Mick Jagger vocal. And just the many bangers in this one, like Waiting on a Friend. And maybe I've heard Start Me Up a couple enough times, but it's still a great song. But yeah, very strong Stones album. Maybe their last great, I would say. And my number one is Discipline by King Crimson, which is a very cool album. Not the easiest to get into, but yeah, I love every song. It starts with Elephant Talk, which is my song of the year, actually, from 1981. Very cool. And just, I love the guitar work by Fripp and Bellew in this album. So unusual, but still very beautiful. And I love their tones. And still, there's some beautiful numbers even. I don't know how to say some of this. Matti Kudasai is the beautiful number, and Indiscipline is like the almost metal at moments. And yeah, you get the Bill Bruford and Tony Levin rhythm section, which is awesome as well. Yeah, love this album a lot, and you should definitely check it out if you haven't. And my favorite King Crimson album too. So yeah, that's my 1981 list.
Nice, nice, interesting. Yeah, kind of what I expected here. We don't have any overlap, but at this time, not even any of the honorable mentions either. So that's interesting. I will say King Crimson, kind of akin to Rush, really like their 80s work. All of them are 4 stars for me. No one's gonna show up, but we shall see. It probably hurts that they all came out in really strong years too, so we'll see. Honorable mentions for me. First one going to be a bit of a wild card. I have Almost Blue by Elvis Costello. Probably my favorite covers record ever. Just a beautiful country record with some great songs by him. Yeah, his songs, but he performs them brilliantly. Next up, one that you maybe wouldn't expect from me. I have Controversy by Prince. Probably my pick for the most underrated Prince album. It's short, sweet, it's funky, it's groovy. I love it a lot. Really just front to back, really great stuff. Then my last honorable mention, I'm sorry, Rich, couldn't quite get into the top 5. I have Juju by Susie and the Banshees. Still love it a lot, just not quite gonna make it in there. But my top 5, starting out, I'm going with a band that couldn't make it into 1980, but they do make it to 81. I got Pretenders 2. Some days I might say that I like Pretenders 2 more than the first Pretenders. not today, but I do like this record a whole hell of a lot. Has a bit more post-punk flair. I think it's a bit smoother, a bit poppier. Kind of gets to show you what you would rather see in the later Pretenders discography, and I just like it a lot. Going up from there, we're going for a three-peat for Squeeze, which is not what I expected, but their record East Side Story. This is them kind of veering even further into pop than they were before, having that great new wave flair. Just fantastic writing and really strong songs here. Like it a hell of a lot. Really eclectic this record is too. Kind of reminds me of Imperial Bedroom at points, which is what Costello would later do. So and the last 4.5 star not making it is going to be Healing by Todd Rundgren, my personal favorite Todd Rundgren album. I think it has it. This is kind of like his perfect blending of his progressive elements with his incredible pop songwriting, and you have the really great electronic elements on here, which reminds me a lot of my number one of the year, which you might be able to pick up on what that is from that. Number two, though, this is going to be this is a really. It sucks that this can't be number one, but I love this record a lot. I think it's really underrated. My number two is going to be Dare by the Human League. This is my pick for the greatest synth pop album in general. I absolutely love the cold, icy synthesizers on this. Don't You Want Me is a perfect set of pop construction, but there's also tracks like Seconds that I think are just really crushing and really show you just how the Human League are a pop band, but they're a very poignant pop band in some of the ways that they write, and I think that's a great showcase of it. But my winner, pretty handily. I love this album way more than most people. I Have Time by the Electric Light Orchestra. ELO, one of my favorite bands ever. This is them slightly veering off from the orchestral pop into a more synth pop range, but you still have all that great orchestration. You have Jeff Lynne's Beatles-inspired brilliant harmonies and melodies. The choruses just get stuck in your head, and I think that this is a mastercraft of songwriting. It's supposed to be a concept album, but I don't care about concepts. I just think that the songs are amazing. This is The News. If you haven't heard the song Twilight before, it might be my pick for the best ELO song. It is just brilliance. And really, the production is really what seals the deal. Jeff Lynne, I think if there was any producer that was able to jump from the 70s to the 80s as good as Jeff Lynne, I've yet to see them. Because I think that Jeff Lynne's production work in the 80s is just mesmerizing. Even on albums that I don't love, if he produced it, I still do like it. So my winner, Time by ELO, pretty clearly. 1981. Love it.
Nice. Yeah, some cool picks. Yeah, there's especially on number one.
Nice. We shall
Yellow.
see if we ever get this. Will we agree again? That is really the question now. Any closing thoughts on 81, or do you think that we've covered it?
Yeah. I don't think I actually have anything like
That's, I didn't
yeah,
write it, so it is
yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
Alrighty. I really hope that you enjoyed this. Comment down below your lists and your favorite records from 1981. And I hope that you all have a good one.